Ian, just a couple of minutes to touch on Gerard Baker's piece in the Times, accusing the Democrats of siding with violent protesters rather than police. This at a time when we are less than 100 days before Americans head to the polls.
Yeah, it's a really grim, really grim, obnoxious piece, and quite morally catastrophic as well. Suggestion, he talks about the protesters still going on in the US, very violent police response to them, calls the protesters, if you look on the sort of top right panel, criminals and drug dealers, this kind of highly sort of racially tinged language. I think it's quite clear the kind of message that he's trying to get across there. Fails to mention in any capacity whatsoever the violent police responses that have been deployed against them, the removal of identity tags, the use of paramilitary equipment, the considerable reports across the media of people being detained without being told why for an extremely prolonged period of time. And of course, all as some kind of great culture war argument of, Democratic mayors have let towns run out of control and Trump is just trying to bring back law and order. A very, very reprehensible piece indeed, and an extremely misleading one.
Melanie, brief thoughts on that piece from Gerard?
I couldn't disagree more with Ian. He talks about racially tinged peace. These are racial protests. Self-evidently, that is to say demonstrably, they're saying they wish to destroy white society. They are targeting the police for attack. They wish to defund and destroy the police. They are petrol bombing, and in one case, actual bombing, or trying to bomb courthouses, trying to burn them down. In certain cities like Portland, they have had violent riots week after week, with Democrat administrations standing back, either being indifferent or conniving at it, or then blaming President Trump for bringing in federal authorities to try to control this. This is extraordinary, to say that there is something reprehensible about a president using federal means to try to quell this extraordinary outbreak across several cities of Democrat-supported public disorder. Gerard Baker is not being reprehensible. He is not being, it's not an appalling piece, as Ian has said. He's simply telling the truth, and it's a truth that the media in Britain has resolutely failed to tell, and the media in America resolutely fails to tell, with certain exceptions. And so I think, if anything, Gerard understates the case. I mean, what's going on is quite extraordinary. You have a hearing recently, this week, with the Attorney General, William Barr, being barracked and almost prevented from speaking by the Democrats, who are presenting, even while they're showing footage of this violence against law institutions, courthouses, they are saying these are mainly peaceful protests and are blaming President Trump for using heavy-handed tactics. Of course, there are heavy-handed tactics in places. Of course, in places, the police behave reprehensibly in America, just like anywhere else. No question about that. But to portray this as some kind of onslaught against the freedom to protest, when actually what the Democrats are doing is conniving at systematic law-breaking based on a racial war against white society, is appalling.
Agree to disagree. Ian, Melanie, we are out of time, I'm afraid. Really good to get your thoughts. Many thanks indeed. Thank you. So this was Sky News.